We all remember art classes at school. And of course, there'll be very prescriptive things and exercises that we go through doing art. And it can be, for some, quite a critical environment. And I think particularly, I may have changed, but for millennials, we will have come out of school with a sense that we either were good at it or weren't good at it. And I think if you feel like you weren't good at it, that's you done for the rest of your adulthood. And you find it actually quite terrifying to re-engage. Is that something that you kind of find in your workshops and when you talk to people in real life or online? Is that something that you feel like a lot of people struggle with when they think about creativity?
Yes, a lot. And it makes me really sad because this springs to mind, I had a lady in her 60s, I think, maybe late 60s, at a workshop. It was a series of workshops, and we were about 2 or 3 in, and she said to me, this has really clicked for me, like, I'm really enjoying this. I've been doing it at home, and it's been really helping my anxiety. She's quite an anxious person, and she said, but I've always hated art. I had a horrible art teacher at school, and I was no good at it, and he always just made it miserable. And then she's now in her 60s, rediscovering this thing that she can do in her own way, understanding how it makes her feel, and giving herself permission to do it as part of our workshops, but also by herself, and noticing how much of a change it has on her. And it just makes me so cross that people have that influence. I mean, you understand why, and you understand how influential people can be on children, and it's the negative stuff that often sticks with us, isn't it? Because that's how our brains are wired. But just the words of one person can have that much impact, and I think it's really dangerous. And I think because creativity isn't something that is kind of championed that much through the rest of our lives, it is one of those things that if you don't have that drive and that interest when you come out of school, it's easy to just not do it ever again. Sorry, I say creativity. I don't mean creativity in that sense. I'm actually talking about art here, aren't I?
Yeah.
Because creativity is creative thinking. We're talking about all sorts of different things, but I'm talking about art obviously in my background, drawing and painting, but that could be art in whatever expressive way you use it, whether that's creative writing, whether that's pottery. There's all sorts of different ways that it can be implied. So throughout this conversation, you can just slot in whatever's relevant. But I do think that is true, that creativity as a whole is not remotely seen as important enough in society. So the creative thinking and everything else that comes with the word of creativity is actually not, I don't think it has the value that it should have. And I think we don't think about it enough as a result. And I think, going into an age of AI and everything like that, it is that creative thinking that we need as humans to be bringing to situations, that individuality. And when we're sort of crushing that from school age, I think it's really damaging. And I see this so much with people coming through workshops, and I see this thing of people worrying. It's a huge amount of me guiding people and helping people with their confidence rather than the painting. I obviously can show them what I do with the painting, but the majority of it is me helping them through that uncomfortable situation of feeling like you don't know what you're doing. And particularly when people haven't painted since childhood, it feels really scary, like you just said. And it's difficult to put yourself in that position voluntarily. And I think when you book yourself onto a workshop for a nice day out or something like that, that is a very different situation to then taking a notebook out and just doing some scribbling yourself at home. And I think it takes maybe sometimes one to influence the other, because I think if you came to a workshop and you understood how it could make you feel, you might be more inclined to then have a little bit of a practice at home